Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to USA States Cup 2021. It is time for the last two matches of the weekend. Both winners bracket matches in the round of 16. South California versus Pennsylvania, followed by Ohio versus Colorado. I'm this one guy. I'll be here with you all evening, and I'm going to be joined for the matches by none other than Chillier Pear. Hey, man. What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, man. What's up, man? Great to be back. We had a fantastic evening of matches yesterday, and we got even more fun stuff going on today with these two winners bracket matches. We had Nevada, Tennessee before this with a 5-2 win for Nevada to close off the losers bracket. And now we're here. The conclusion of the round of 16 already.
You say already, but it's been a 5-day long week because we had matches on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now on Monday. It's a lot of OSU.
It really is, and it's just prolonged and made more painful by the VTuber warm-ups.
Yeah,
Just gonna keep the monster pad on for now.
Yeah, I think. Well, the problem is that I'm pretty sure VTubers just mean you get instantly DMCA'd. Like,
yeah, China doesn't like their stuff online.
So
yeah,
I actually don't know if it's a good idea to stream this anyway. So I don't know. We gotta introduce the teams and stuff anyway, so they can do their thing. It's all good. Yeah. So SoCal, Team Red, left hand side of the screen, the number 3 seed in the tournament. Matthew, Utami, You're Cute, Headstack, Jazarone, and Spev. Pennsylvania on the right, blue team. I like how their flags match too. California has the red on their flag, and Pennsylvania's flag is blue. It's really nice.
This is perfection.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, of course, the 19 seed. Very new roster. C-Main, Koleaku, Armani Dilbo, Astrovia, Godra, and Say I Add, because that is an I, not an L.
Tis.
And I think this is just going to be SoCal flexing their muscle a bit more, because Utami is gonna do stuff, and I think Headstack is probably gonna do stuff, and I don't know how Pennsylvania really matches, unfortunately, for them.
Yeah, especially with the way that Matthew has been playing lately. If anyone kept up with a North America tournament in the last weekend, Matthew versus Utami was several like 10,000 score differences on maps all the way up to tiebreaker, which also ended in like a sub 10,000 score difference. So good player, Matthew, coming back into form from what used to be one of the stronger players in the United States and kind of went MIA for a while, and now is back.
Yeah, it feels like it's always a question mark with Matthew. It's like, which Matthew are you going to get? Are you going to get the rusted Matthew who just misses on stuff randomly, or are you going to get the Matthew who's actually like playing well and is one of the better DT players that you're going to see, and ends up being pretty well-rounded also, just from his experience in tournaments over the past several years. So glad to see him getting back into form.
Very cool. You also got a couple other players on SoCal. You got You're Cute, who is newer tournament player, hasn't really shown up at all, basically, in tournaments until recently, and has proven to be pretty decent. It's a very fairly high-ranking player in the U.S., rank 171 globally. And then you have Jazarone, who, not entirely sure, I think that's probably their least tournament-experienced player on the SoCal team, and of course, bringing up the bottom of that roster, not quite actually, even by one rank lower than Jazarone, is Spev, the 4WC speed stamina gamer, makes a return for vengeance in the United States Cup.
Yeah, it's interesting, because obviously SoCal, like, there was no way to match the roster they had last year when they had Vaxei, Idki, and Monko. Like, they're defending first place, and lost the players that got them there, but they still put together a good roster for this year. I do think that they are likely to win this and likely to match up against Ohio next week in quarterfinals, and I think that's going to be a hell of a match because the skill cap on SoCal is pretty high with some of those players, and they are decently rounded. I'm very curious to see how the kind of newcomers start to do as we get into more difficult pools as well. The guys like You're Cute and Jazarone, who we're a little less familiar with.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully their skill cap carries them through, especially on Your Cute's position there, being a fairly high-ranking player. You do have to imagine that they are fairly comfortable on the higher star rating maps, at least mechanically, compared to a lot of the other players. But we'll see. Pennsylvania is another roster that has had a significant amount of changes this year.
Yeah, I really am only familiar with like one player on this roster, right? Koleaku, you obviously knew he was going to be here. C-Main, the captain, who I'm not familiar with, like, any of the rest of the five. Armani Dilbo, like, Astrovia, a couple, top 2,000 players, but I don't know what they're like in tournaments, really. And then I guess it's Godra, he told me. Like, there's a Pokemon, apparently, that's called that. I don't know. I don't know, but that's what I was told. So these are, relative newcomers, like, not guys you're used to seeing in tournaments, and I don't know what kind of performance really to expect out of them. But, I mean, they obviously got through their match last week against Nevada pretty well. It was 5-3, which is not a bad result. I mean, Nevada actually looks pretty reasonable today, especially on, like, the DT and speed stuff. So, Pennsylvania beating them means that they're, at least passing the bar, But yeah. I think SoCal is just a different tier of opponent for them here.
SoCal definitely has the consistency at these higher star rating maps to maybe get the best of Pennsylvania on quite a bit of this. You mentioned, not too much of the same roster that you've seen in previous years. They are missing a lot of players that we've seen in the past. Maybe like Asdayoff and Megatron is bad. Most notably, their captain taking a little bit of a break this year. But, of course, you do have the returning players. You mentioned Koaliaku. Basically, the stand-in for Pennsylvania at this point is their highest skill cap player. Very, very good at the game. Not too tournament experienced, but the solo performance there is absolutely insane. And then, of course, who could ever forget about Ostrovia? He's been here since United States Cup 2017. He's been on the Pennsylvania team almost every year. With the exception of maybe like 1 year where he didn't play. But Ostrovia's been there for quite a bit of time now. Again, was kind of a tournament player back in like late 2017 to 2016s, but not quite around as much. But you can kind of see in the warm-up here that they're kind of going through off-screen that he's proving to be pretty big for Pennsylvania right now on the mechanics.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be interested to see, kind of what Pennsylvania brings to the table is in terms of mechanics here, because I do think that's kind of what I associate with them, with those players. I mean, Koaliaku being their top player kind of just like jumps to mind as a mechanics player. But the problem is SoCal also has some very good mechanics players, so that's a scary prospect. And this pool is obviously not going to be skill capping anyone, so it's going to be a little bit about consistency as well and ability to play, certain skill sets that you see on this particular map pool. Yeah. But
well, it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to drop in on their second warm up here that they're getting through, and we get some audio going.
Chill out with the band made warm up. Well, a lot of picks that are open to both of these teams. I think South California basically has the entire pool open for the taking, and that's not even because of Pennsylvania. That's just because SoCal basically has all of their entrances and exits covered in terms of skill sets. I don't actually think that they lack super hard in any particular area. They have the speed on Utami and Spev and Yurcute. They have the hidden on Utami, Matthew, Headstack, and even Spev. Not entirely sure what kind of a player Charon is. Haven't seen too much again, and I think these early rounds are going to be a little bit telling of their performance. Doesn't look too bad on the aim warm-up right here. And then the Hard Rock, of course, we all know how that is going to go for SoCal. They are very strong there as well.
Yeah, this freaking chat, please. This SoCal roster, like, it's just good at a lot of things. I mean, it helps a lot to have a tournament player the caliber of Utami on your team, because that's just like somebody who can go in for practically anything and they're going to do well on it. So you only have to worry about like 2 people instead of 3 on a given map. If you like if that makes sense, it's a little bit of not peace of mind, but it just makes life that little bit easier when deciding on your picks and bans.
A tiny bit. I think Pennsylvania is definitely going to be, and again, when you're SoCal, it's really difficult to ban against Pennsylvania because inevitably you're going to be banning a map that you can play pretty well. So you're basically just trying to go for the style points of like banning the maps that Pennsylvania would be good at, which in this case is the Hard Rock one. It's the consistency of the glory days.
That was going to happen. That was just always going to happen.
You ban that into Koaliaku.
That's Koa's, Koa's specialty, and it's probably, I mean, it's something that SoCal would do fine on, but like you said, it's the type of thing, you're just banning your opponent's strengths rather than banning your own weaknesses in this sort of case, because if you're this SoCal team, you can afford to do that.
No, it's Toxic is gone.
Who bans Toxic?
No!
Why would anyone ban Toxic? Excuse me?
Pennsylvania. We are removing you from the New England states, even though I don't even know if Pennsylvania is part of I think it is.
I don't think that counts.
I don't actually know if they're part of New England. Let me see. Are they?
Was it an original 13? It was an original 13, but it wasn't. It's not New England.
The original 13, yeah, I was gonna say New England's a little bit different.
They
are not part of New England. All right, good. We don't have to remove them. Everything is okay.
I'm just so sad about. Oh man, I can't believe you would ban the best song in the pool.
I'm so disappointed.
Now, and you know what's gonna happen is like invariably they're gonna pick Hard Rock 2 and DT1 at some point in this match, and I'm just gonna cry a little bit.
I cannot argue actually with what was just said, is that Nomad 3 is probably the best in the pool, and I genuinely probably wouldn't disagree with that, but I also will not complain about the Nomad 2 pick. Let's go!
This is your favorite.
Let's go!
Also, wait, are they actually picking this into Utami?
I guess Koa is just gonna double S this or something.
Why is my thing not changing over? Hello?
Astrovia is pretty good at streaming as well, so I guess Pennsylvania definitely at least has 2 for this map. And I maybe just hoping that SoCal finds like an unfortunate miss. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen just a slider break somewhere on this.
These moments.
Unlucky.
That was
very unlucky.
That was tragic. Yeah, I felt really bad.
Happens.
But I think the problem is, like, SoCal has Utami and Spev for speed stamina stuff.
Yeah.
And Chizaron, who's the new player, apparently did really well in their tryouts. I don't know what his specialty or specialties are, as the case may be. But clearly in to start off on the Nomad 2, so we'll see how this goes. I don't know that I necessarily agree with this as a first pick for Pennsylvania against SoCal, but it's the type of map that a lot of teams are, like, reasonably good at if they're left-hand focused, so...
Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible.
Well, we'll see. This is a Spev double X map because this BPM is non-existent for him, and Utami is just ready for this. So I guess it's more down to how Pennsylvania performs rather than if SoCal can't, because we know, I guess, they can.
Yeah, notably, Utami has not yet missed in this tournament. He played 4 maps last week and FC'd all 4 of them. So,
yeah, sure.
Gonna try to keep that up. I mean, it was the first pool, like, it's not that insane, but it's still, like, impressive consistency. The dude is really good at, like, early pools, though. I feel like he top scores, like, every qualifier he plays in, it seems like.
Yeah, he's got good accuracy.
Meanwhile, Astrovia with the first break over on the Pennsylvania side. That is not how you want to start out. 94% AC, because you see... Yeesh. A lot of map to go, though. This map has, what, 1800 combo, so there's a long road ahead throughout this pick.
Definitely, but we'll see how it happens. Right now, it's basically just Pennsylvania's unfortunate miss on Astrovia at the beginning right now. They would not be winning based on the accuracy. However, it would certainly be a little bit more doable. But
yeah.
There's plenty of map to go.
Yeah, I mean, we're 600 combo in, and, I mean, it's just the one
Okay.
break.
Okay. Doable. Chizaron breaking.
Oh, you're ahead.
Am I far ahead? Oh, goodness.
Happened. Yeah, I was like, what is he talking about? I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that's comeback city now for Pennsylvania because it is just not that big of a lead for SoCal, and they've got a 500 combo, just under 500 combo advantage now.
Oh, yeah, so Pennsylvania's got a solid amount of a little bit of a slower section coming up as well to build up these combos right here. But then it does kind of get right back into it past the halfway point.
Yeah, once you get into this, like, kind of third quarter of this map is probably the hardest part of it. But there's another break from Cesaro, and Astrovia, though, breaking once again, so it just trades it right back, and now SoCal holds on to their lead until and unless Utami and Spev break. Oh, Armani Dillo, no!
Armani, yeah.
All right, well,
that's very unlucky.
Koa's the last hope now for Pennsylvania because that is a ton of combo. That's
unfortunately, against
1100.
The best stream players that you can go against, unfortunately. Spev and Utami are kind of just, yeah.
Chizaron is having some trouble in this difficult section, but Utami and Spev are just chilling. Wow,
yeah,
they're
really.
they're just having the easiest time of their life right now. They're actually on identical accuracy as well. I wonder which one's gonna get a higher score because Koa's about 0.8% behind on Axe, so he's not gonna be able to match. Spev dropped an extra 100.
Spev did drop 100.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
So Utami looking for that top score here, and it looks like we are gonna see an opening break point from SoCal on the Nomad 2 from Pennsylvania.
Well done to SoCal. Chizaron actually doesn't look super uncomfortable on this map, actually. It was basically just some mis-aims, and I think that's, you know, a testament to the fact that Chizaron is not really an experienced tournament player, as we kind of mentioned. He's newer to the scene. You haven't really seen his name a lot around, so it's kind of, I think it's like that first map type nerves, like get it out of the way now. It's a little bit shaky and jittery, and on a dense map like this, it is possible to drop quite a bit of slider ends and breaks there.
Side note, Utami and Spev finished with identical 100 counts, and
Spev
Spev got a higher score despite dropping a slider end. So
I'm
he had
sorry,
one
didn't this
lower
happen
combo,
yesterday,
but he
too?
had a higher score. Yeah, that's the same thing that happened
Yeah.
yesterday in one of the matches.
Something happened, yeah.
Why is it two? Oh, okay, thank you. I like how the laser client tracks warm-ups, even if the like overlay is still set to display it as being in the warm-ups. It's the weirdest thing that it does, and I don't know why it does that. I guess are there spinners in that map? I don't know. It was like 100 and I mean it was like 130 point difference, but still I think it's kind of funny. All right, it is going to be no mod 4, so SoCal is going probably for skill cap stuff here, which I think is a pretty good plan because I do think they have the skill cap advantage in this matchup.
This is a head stack FC type of map right here. Like, this is just what head stack is good at. This like alt gimmick type, like aim control stuff. He just eats this up. So does Utami, actually. But I guess Zaron is going to be staying in for this, so more of a mainstay player than you would expect, I think, from one of the newer players on the SoCal roster. But Headstack and Utami, not surprising in the slightest. Both of them are very, very good at these tech maps. Koleiku, not bad, actually, at all. Generally regarded as a mechanics player, but actually has a very high aptitude for these more awkward picks.
I think there's definitely like, I don't know, there's just a lot of skill on both these rosters for this sort of thing. But yeah, like we'll see what Koa can do. I think he's gonna have to be like a pretty big carry for this Pennsylvania team. Like, I mean, he did FC the Nomad 2, obviously. He was kind of the guaranteed FC for them on that. Yeah, Utami Headstack probably just double FC this though. Or at least come close, and Chizaron getting a lot of experience here going in for both the first two maps for SoCal.
Well, I guess if you got a diamond in the rough as your new pickup for the year, you might as well use it. Looks like, or maybe, you know, get those nerves out of the way on the first map, and Chizaron wants to get that little bit of redemption after that first pick there. Didn't look uncomfortable.
No, it was just a couple breaks here and there. I mean, he was the weaker player on their team, but when you have Utami and Speb on a speed map, that's not really anything to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And there's two breaks in the very beginning already from Pennsylvania. Koa and Astrovia both breaking the first 200 combo. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah, not against Headstack with 99.6.
Yeah. Headstack is like low-key super underrated tournament player, I think.
No!
Oh my god, I had to.
The double!
Oh my god.
No,
and now my client's frozen in like,
yeah.
that's my penalty.
We're good now. We're
All
good.
right,
Everything's fine. Thank you, Bancho.
Utami Chizaron still both FCing, so it's not like the worst, but that is a little bit of combo for Pennsylvania in the lead, as long as Salad can continue. His AC, however, is not helping things. 88%. Is this the cheese method?
Wow, this is like Sputnik accuracy right now. Like, that is Sputnik 3 accuracy. Wow.
This dude like went out to dinner at a fancy restaurant and he said, "I don't want dessert. I'll just have the cheese plate."
I'll have the salad.
The salad and then a cheese plate. Salad with cheese on top. I don't know. This metaphor is getting killed already, and he did break. So it's just Utami and Chizaron gaming, and Headstack with the top act, by the way, despite his break. So
yeah.
Has he even hit any, like, he's hit like a couple hundreds at most, but like it was actually 2 misses that dropped his act for the most part.
Basically, yeah. Oh, there's a couple there though, but Koa does break the combo.
Astrovia is putting in as much work as he can here for Pennsylvania, but unfortunately it's basically 1v3, and that is going to be a double FC? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
a double
like
FC on Utami and Chizaron for SoCal. They are feeling themselves right now, man. Holy cow. That's how you start off a match right there. Back-to-back double FCs for your team and just run away with the first 2 points.
You're just ready for it. Chizaron with the perfect combo, by the way. No slider ends dropped on this map. So, you know, I kind of mentioned the double spot in for the redemption after a couple shakes on the first map, and Chizaron certainly showed up right there. Well done to the new player on the SoCal team. Utami, to the surprise of nobody, puts up C on the tech map.
I'm shocked. I am just amazed. I have never seen Utami FC a map in a round of 16 pool in my life. And it is going to be the quick hidden 2 pick from Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure this is like also low-key inting, but
Yeah, a little bit.
this is like, I think this is soft inting for Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure. They might be good at low air hidden. Like we said, there's a lot of new players on the team, so I'm not familiar with their skill sets. This map is not that hard. So the gap between like a god tier, like top tier area hidden player like Utami and, you know, somebody who just gets by on a map that isn't all that difficult is not as big.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know what's going to happen here because Pennsylvania has traditionally been very good at reading maps. Granted, that was also back when players like Josh were on the team who are really freaking good at reading, but I don't know how this new roster holds up, especially with players like Koa, who are not really regarded as reading-oriented players. Granted, Hidden 2 is not super hard to read. It's just, I don't know. No Spev in for this pick. I guess I think that You're Cute going to be fronting this one a little bit, maybe not quite as comfortable as what you'd expect. Spev is actually a very, very solid lower AR player, given his usual skill set of like stamina streams. So
I'm telling you, I bring this up all the time, but there's this really crazy overlap between speed players and reading players. It's the strangest thing in the world to me. And if you think about it, you know, like guys like Nissan or Arnold or Utami, like there's all these people who are really good at both speed and low AR, and I don't know how it happens. But this is like I don't know. I think this is kind of a mispick for Pennsylvania because I see like probably a double FC again from SoCal on this unless something really crazy happens.
Well, yeah, there goes two breaks.
Well,
already.
You're Cute and Armani Dillo breaking in the first 20 combo. All right, so maybe that won't be happening. That was the crazy thing that needed to happen, was You're Cute just actually not being prepared to start the map, I guess? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it looks like You're Cute is not too comfortable on this map, so I am already slightly surprised. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt in being in over Spev, but I genuinely think Spev could probably FC this map. But who knows? We'll see if he recovers well from those initial breaks. Yeah,
there's plenty of map left. We're only a quarter of the way in, but it is going to be the early lead in combo for Pennsylvania. It's not by that much, though. I think the accuracy on Utami and Matthew is keeping SoCal in the lead for now. And there goes Salad, so that's going to help out even more. Matthew is still on the SS, and Utami, I think, just dropped 100. So this, like, I don't know. This is just Matthew and Utami's show now because Koa is a little bit behind on AC, and Armadillo is a little bit behind on combo.
Yeah, well, unfortunate for Pennsylvania, and maybe not quite the performance all around that they were looking for on their pick here. I guess they do have an opportunity to get themselves on the board, but I think right now it's just too strong. Matthew putting up a double S to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Matthew is literally just ridiculous at reading, and there goes Salad, unfortunately.
Yeah, Salad had broken before, so like that's not the worst person to have missed, but Pennsylvania needs at least one, if not two breaks from SoCal pretty much like ASAP. If they want to have a chance at a comeback. The AC difference and the combo difference just add up. Okay, that was the break from You're Cute, but they need another one. They need Tommy or Matthew because it is still a 200k lead for SoCal.
Well, Matthew doesn't look like he's gonna miss.
I don't. Okay, Matthew, please don't shake too much. Oh my god, he's shaking so bad. Wait, Matthew. He's shaking so. Oh, there it is.
No!
The shake was too much. The shake was too much. I don't think Armani Dillo has enough score left to bring this back, but it is actually going to get kind of close at the end here.
It's going to be very close.
But yeah. I think
he missed.
He broke. Yeah, and Utami's matching Koa, so they're going to hold on to it. It's going to end up being a little tight here at the end, though, with Salad bringing a lot of combo into the ending. Wait a minute. This is going to be so close in the end.
If Armani didn't miss.
If Armani didn't miss, Pennsylvania would have won that, yeah. But
oh my goodness.
Utami won 100. Not too shabby. Matthew won 100 at 2 misses. That's really sad. And Koa with the FC. Yeah, Armani's just unlucky. Actually, if he just hadn't missed as many times, that would have been super close. Also, Utami got 100 on the first note of the map, or like one of the first couple notes.
Wow.
You hate to see it. That was really 35k though, man. Pennsylvania was really close to bringing that back once Matthew broke. Just was not meant to be.
I think SoCal with a slight underperformance on that map. They did still win the pick, but I think compared to quite a few other teams on here, we've seen some very high scores on the HD2, and I think we were maybe expecting a little bit more from SoCal. I think there's a couple states that had some outstanding performances on this map. I think
Florida.
Michigan, Florida, both of those also outscored SoCal. So congratulations to those teams for beating the third seeded team in the tournament on the AR8 map. Thank you.
To be fair, I mean, if Matthew hadn't two-missed, that score would have been ridiculous. But
he did two-miss.
But he did two-miss. You hate to see it.
Yeah.
So that's double break point now for SoCal, and I don't know that. I mean, actually, that almost worked out. So I agree with that pick in hindsight more than I agree with Nomad 2 in hindsight. But either way, it's tough to pick into this SoCal team, and they're gonna go free mod 1. All right, so we're getting stamina awkward stream aim free mod from SoCal. I said, you know, when they picked Nomad 4, they're just picking the skill cap stuff, and this definitely falls under that category as well.
I completely agree, and especially once you force the mods onto players, it gets a little bit interesting here. Unfortunately for Pennsylvania, as much as they probably would like to just force Koaliaku on the HDHR, doesn't quite work like that, and they're going to have to find a second player with a mod, which I believe should be Astrovia on the hidden, which would just make sense. I don't know. I don't know anything about Pennsylvania modifications.
Yeah, I think it's Koa Hard Rock.
Oh,
nope.
Armani.
Yep.
Okay.
Koa Hard Rock, Armani hidden, and then Astrovia Nomad. SoCal going Utami hidden, Headstack Hard Rock, and Spev Nomad. I guess Utami Hidden's the best option for this, but I feel like it's a little less guaranteed of an FC for a hidden player. Like, hidden on this is relatively difficult. So
well, I guess it makes sense. Out of all the players to play this with hidden, Utami would probably be the most confident, and Spev is like genuinely very good at these lower approach rating Nomad maps here. So
this is
if you have a confident head stack as well on the Hard Rock.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting, though. This map is, like, super intable for basically anyone. But if you're just super comfy on your mod pick, then it won't be as bad. So I don't know that we've seen a hidden FC yet, though, have we?
I don't think we actually have, because I think people have just missed, unfortunately.
Yeah, generally, we just haven't seen a lot of FCs on this map overall, because it's quite tricky.
Yeah, some of the later sections.
Yeah, those streams in the last third are just you can like just mistime your like cursor movement off of those stacks and you just die. So
well, still have yet to see a break from either team. Stream? Nobody?
Here we go. Spev. Okay, wait a second. It's gonna go over to Pennsylvania. See how long they can hold on. Not that long. Armani double breaks, but so does Headstack. So it's just Utami left for SoCal. Koa and Astrovia, though, still on the FCs. Man, the accuracy is, like, non-existent for them, but they're keeping the combo up. That's all that matters.
Yeah, Headstack just dropped to 90% accuracy on that as well. Unfortunately, that is probably going to be it.
No, Pennsylvania broke. Astrovia broke too. Oh, my goodness. No, Pennsylvania, they just had it in the palm of their hand, and they tossed it away, and Utami is going to bring in the freaking hidden FC with 99.49 AC, because that's what you do on this map, I guess.
Like you do.
The carry from SoCal. Let's see if he hits the ending stream.
Like you do.
Okay, well, that's our first hidden FC on that, I'm pretty sure. That was insane. 99.5 AC hidden FC. You're not supposed to do that, Utami. That is 8 straight FCs for him in the tournament. Has not missed yet in USC 2021. But that was tragic for Pennsylvania. They had it, and then they just said, we don't actually want it. It was the Jon Snow moment. I don't want it. Just goodbye.
Well, B ranks for quite a few players on there. Unfortunately, Headstack with the absolutely massive note lock in the middle of that map. I guess that's just the repercussions of being the Hard Rock player on this map. So, happens. Spev, unfortunate miss with very good accuracy, might I add. 8 100s on that with no mod is still very respectable. But the misplacement just not doing him too many favors. Yeah. But SoCal is going to take the pick regardless.
Yeah, SoCal just... I mean, that pick was realistically just all Utami, because he top scored by 300k over Astrovia as the next highest score in the lobby. And they won by 324k. So, I mean, you can do the math on that one. Yeah, that's the effect of having like one player you can rely on to this degree. Pennsylvania now 4-0 down quickly, only half an hour in. SoCal going for the any percent speed run.
Yeah,
Pennsylvania going to try to get on the board. I just don't know what the pick is for them here.
Apparently, I also did. I think I also forgot, and I don't know if we mentioned it after that last pick, but Will Cookie did actually.
Did he
have a hidden
yeah, I could have sworn he broke somewhere at the like on the stream.
Low accuracy, 97%, but did get 952K. So I think that's NFC.
Yeah, I thought I remembered him breaking on like one of the ending streams. I guess not.
Yeah, it looks like he did pull out the FC. We had to reference the NP link, but
who was the player who was FCing like up until the ending stream, and we were like comparing to it was
it Hagawabla for Arizona.
Okay, and sorry to go back to the match at hand here from that discussion, but DT3 from Pennsylvania against Utami, Spev, and Matthew.
Ostrovia will Thanos the enemy team, he says.
Like, tell me that this isn't the worst possible pick that Pennsylvania could have gone with here. Because I don't know how anyone other than like another top 4 team can beat Utami, Spev, Matthew on this map.
Yeah, that's actually not a 3 that you want to go up against if you are most teams in this tournament, with the exception of like Ohio.
This is such a bizarre pick to me.
Well, we'll see. Maybe some misaims here and there. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible, like, to not do as well as someone would expect on this map, but SoCal's got such a good speed roster. I don't know. Maybe we mentioned like Pennsylvania being reasonably good at speed earlier, so we'll see. We'll see, but I don't know. I guess I should just stop talking because I've thought everything from Pennsylvania was a mispick, so clearly like it just doesn't matter what I think. And Spev does have the early break. It's traded with Armani Dilbo, though, so Pennsylvania not going to be able to take any advantage out of it.
Matthew accuracy is not sitting super high right now as well. He's basically double tapping.
I guess is he like more of a DT player, less of a speed player, if that makes sense?
Yeah. He's like aim player, I guess. Yeah, not left hand.
All right, so about halfway through here, Utami still on the SS, and Pennsylvania though in the lead, about a 200 combo advantage and about that amount of score. Well, Matthew holding onto his combo despite the lower act, but we'll have to see if that lasts. We'll have to see if he doesn't shake like he did on Hidden 2. That was really unfortunate. 130k with a third of the map to go, and keeping good accuracy on all 3 members are Pennsylvania as well, so they can keep this lead as long as they don't break. And Spev having trouble.
Yeah. Well, Bancho lag.
Bancho,
Ostrovia with the JK lull before the map started, but actually is very confident on this pick, so gonna hold it down for Pennsylvania right now. Quarter of the way left in the map. There is still time for SoCal to come back.
It's running out, and Spev is having a bad time here. Pennsylvania might just like double FC this and win on the Armani combo, because I think that's what's going to happen now. It's actually over. Utami is SSing, by the way, and it's not going to matter.
Oh, he drops 100. No.
Oh, that's
right
so
as
sad.
You said that. No.
The 100 from Utami, and they still lose. That's a really good score from Pennsylvania. Double FC and a 941k.
Yeah, wow.
That's possibly I think that's the best team score we've seen on this. 99 AC on Koa and on Astrovia. Okay, so Pennsylvania just good at speed, I guess.
Apparently 3.2 million. That's very good.
That's a 6 score from Pennsylvania. That's really, really impressive. That's like a nasty way to get on the board.
That is like the most in your face, like, screw you pick ever against Utami, Spev, and Matthew. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. Oh, well. Pennsylvania taking a point against a team that I think most people probably counted Pennsylvania out against, and looking good. Yeah,
I mean, I think a lot of people anticipated a sweep here, and I don't think they would have been, in the wrong to do that considering the teams, but that was that might have been like one of the best, if not the best, single map performances we've seen, other than I feel like we've had maybe 1 or 2 3-ways this round at most. From I think Florida, right? 3-wayed something. They 3-wayed Hidden 2 maybe. But it's been pretty infrequent, so it's a really, really good team score. And They get on the board, but California gets the pick, and they go hidden one. So we're going back-to-back hiddens from SoCal as they try to close it out.
I really wanted to see rap music, not gonna lie. I really did.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have been as good of a pick, though.
I feel like it would have. They have Headstack. I feel like Headstack just eats that map. I don't know. Maybe I'm just throwing right now, but this pick is also just not a very good song comparatively. I'm sorry.
I actually like this song.
The song is not bad. It is not a bad song. It's just not No Mod 3.
The only part of this song that I don't like is the ASMR like whispering thing. I really don't like that at all.
That does make me wince a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it makes me physically recoil, and I've mentioned it every time, which means I guess I should shut up about it, but it just, I can't escape it. A little bit of a different roster here for SoCal. Tommy, your cute head stack. C-Main coming in, first map for him to join Koa and Armani. Oh, Pennsylvania would like to get a break point. Get this a little closer. Down 4-1. They're gonna, I mean, you know, reverse sweep. They gotta keep winning picks. C-Main, however, coming in for his map and not connecting. Let's go. All right, there we go. Wait, did everyone on the bottom row just miss, or is that my client? No, that was just my client.
I think you got banchoed except for C-Main.
It was.
Oh, nope,
no, they all hit it. Yeah, they all hit it. It's fine.
Oh my god.
So this one is a little bit of a different pick than most of just about anything else in the pool. Low BPM, kind of swing rhythm, slightly awkward aim just because of the way it's spaced with the rhythm, but something that hidden players will be fairly comfortable with regardless.
Well, 2 double S's on your cute and head stack right now, so SoCal's looking pretty good across the board. Utami has dropped a singular 100, and again, head stack is just really good at these like slow and aim control finger maps. I don't know how to describe
finger maps. Okay.
Finger maps.
Every map is a finger map if you think about it, because you do have to use your hands.
Finger map.
Sorry.
I'm sorry,
that's
everyone.
finger map.
The finger lock.
All right, well, somebody's going to break sooner or later, but as of now, we've got 6 FCs still up on the big board. Just Ack Diff with the 95 on Koa. Not an Ack player, that Koa Leaku, but he's good at comboing, so that's what matters most. C-Main, likewise, a little bit behind on the Ack department.
Yeah, well,
it's actually, like, it's enough Ack difference that it's a 60k lead for SoCal, even though there's no breaks, which is significant, like, considering we're only a third of the way through. Oh, and Armani double with a slider break.
Right
oh, you hate to see it.
That's unlucky.
We are going to come up to that one little awkward, like, triple, like, the 1/3 triples. That section has caught a lot of people out, so we're going to have to see what happens there, because that comes up here in about the middle of the map.
My money's on head stack and Koa Leaku double S-ing that pattern.
Let's see. Everybody dropping a couple hundreds in this section here. That rhythm is quite tricky.
Well, here comes a big section after this.
Little awkward rhythm. Everybody maintaining. All right, no breaks.
For Pennsylvania, they're still in this. Unfortunately for Pennsylvania, Koa Leaku's accuracy is a little booty right now, but...
Oh, head stack and C-Main
traded.
breaks. Okay, so it's Koa versus Utami and Yurikyu. Oh, and C-Main breaks on the little triple thing.
Ooh, that's not good.
So, I mean, he had already, but that's going to drop his act down. It's going to drop his score down. Meanwhile, Utami and Yurikyu are just chilling. Oh, and there goes Koa. That's just it. That just ended the match, unfortunately, for Pennsylvania. And my client, please, come on. Oh, wait, Yurikyu? What? Was that had to be Bancho, right? He just, like, didn't play a couple notes. Huh.
Well, unlucky.
I don't know what happened there to Yurikyu. That was bizarre, but it just doesn't matter because Utami is still doing the thing and they're up by 400k.
Well, good plays, basically all around from SoCal, actually. Headstack and Yurikyu are doing an amazing job to back up Utami right here.
I feel like that's just the SoCal method this year. Just back up Utami.
It looks like it, honestly.
It's working out.
I feel like that was the method last year.
Just back up Vaxay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you don't fix what ain't broken.
Yeah,
so
really, wow.
SoCal just running back the strategy of having a big carry and everybody else can do their job, then they'll be in a good spot in the match. And, well, Utami just needs to hit this ending.
Yeah, this
is...
wow.
All right, 9 of 9. Utami has not yet missed in the tournament through 2 matches, and SoCal gets the 10 of 10. And SoCal gets the 5-1 victory. All right.
Like you do.
You know, that's fine. Match cost farming.
Of course. The only way to handle it.
Let's go take a look. Yep, Utami 1.72, next best 1.31, next best 1.08. You know.
I mean, Utami is basically the best player to ever exist in this game, so are we all surprised?
Do you want to know a funny story?
Yeah,
just because of how the matches went, Arco in the earlier match between Tennessee and Nevada got a better match cost than Utami. He got 1.7. He got 1.77, and it's because the scores were like had a wider spread. The bottom scores in Tennessee versus Nevada were really bad, whereas the bottom scores in this were not as bad.
Wow.
So that's kind of a funny thing to have happen. But regardless, SoCal, your winners, 5-1, the final score. Not really much of a surprise there. Good job to Pennsylvania getting a point on the board and putting forth some decent scores on other maps. But SoCal it's just too much. I don't know. They're very good because they have a player who's going to FC every map.
Yeah, that's kind of the way if you're SoCal, and I think that's, unfortunately for whoever faces them, going to most likely remain a trend through the next round, I think. I don't know if this pool just scales enough for Utami to be massively uncomfortable. I think there is a higher likelihood of a miss coming out, especially against some of the more difficult teams who are going to be good on picks, but... you know, there's a lot of good players in this tournament that are going to put up some fantastic scores as well, most notably in the next match and the final match of the weekend, Ohio versus Colorado.
Yeah, and SoCal is awaiting the winner of that match in the quarterfinals, so they get to see their opposition playing right after. And Ohio, you know, you talked about like that key player like Utami who can just FC everything. Well, Ohio has a little thing I like to call Ryu and Kablaze on their team, which is a better duo, I would argue, than any duo that SoCal puts up. The question is, how consistent will they be, and will they have a full 3-person roster that matches the 3-person roster? Again, we're assuming ahead of time here that Ohio is going to beat Colorado. Fancy Lad and Co. would like to have something to say about that. I just don't know what the likelihood of that is, because the backing players for Colorado do not stack up to the backing players of Ohio.
Yeah, I just, you know, I have to agree with that. Ohio just has, it's one of those cases where it's like, Colorado is a very good team, yes, and they have players that can absolutely perform. I mean, they have Fancy Lad, they have Dead Zone, they have WinRAR, they have a good roster. It's just more of like a, can they outperform the literal star roster of Ohio, where you have, you know, I kind of mentioned it the other day, Kablaze is like one of the most consistent tournament players ever as of recent. Like, she used to be like casual and then somehow just became absolutely stupid good at tournaments. Ryu is the savior of the world, as we all know, and Utsuha is just like the next Vaxay or something. So like,
yeah, this the big question that I have with this Ohio roster, you don't ever have to be concerned about Ryu, Kablaze, Utsuha. Like, those players are always going to do their job. The big questions for Ohio, for me, is how well will Shotgunape, Kaneko, and Taro perform? You know, Shotgunape has typically done pretty well in USC, but he's not going to be a carry player. He's kind of a fill player for certain types of maps. And then Kaneko and Taro, like, I've quite honestly never heard of Taro before this tournament before. So I don't know what he does, what he plays, what he's good at.
I've heard he's very good. I've heard many people say good things about Taro, so I expect a lot, to be perfectly honest. They've really talked Taro up. A lot of people have, actually, not even just the Ohio team. So kind of excited to see what comes out of him today, I think, most notably. Because most of these other Ohio players, you've kind of heard of at least 1 or 2 times before. But Taro is pretty new.
Yeah, that's a new addition to the roster. No Pupper this year from their third place run last year. So a little new blood on that team. We'll get to see how they do. But Colorado, meanwhile, I mean, it's the Fancy Lad show, as it has been for the last couple years. You know, he is to Colorado as Utami is to this year's SoCal. The problem is they don't have really the backing players of the level of some of these other teams at the top, which is why they aren't, you know, one of those big favorites for like a top 4 finish. They do have some new players on this roster this year, though. Krustiv and Venpris, I believe, are both new to USC. I think Numza might be as well. I can't remember how many USCs he's played before.
I don't remember Numza from last year, at least.
Winrar and Dead Zone obviously are like mainstays. They're stalwarts of the Colorado USC squad. They've been around for a long time.
Actually cheating. Winrar is actually in Massachusetts. This is broken.
Yeah, the beauty of USC. Also, like, an interesting thing about this is the fact that Ohio is the 6th seed. Like, that just feels so weird to me for a team that has Ariu and Kablaze on it, that they're the 6th seed. But I mean, if you look at the teams ahead of them, like, and consider how they have done historically in tournaments overall, since BWS is tournaments overall, not just USC, you get kind of an answer, because there's just teams with a lot of really successful tournament players. So, but it still feels strange to me that Ohio isn't like a top 4 seed. I feel like, but I don't know who in the top 4 they would replace. So
yeah,
it's just the top 6 of this tournament are really, really stacked, I think, with the 2 Californias, Virginia, Florida, Massachusetts, and Ohio. So all those teams are just going to beat up on each other, and I think it's going to be really exciting once we get there. I'm interested to see, though. Like, I think Colorado is like one of the couple teams that I didn't get to watch last week. I mean, they were, I forget what match they were at the same time as, but it overlapped, and we went with the other match instead.
I think we went for the
they were against
it was
Stateless
Maryland
at the same time as Maryland,
right?
Washington. Yeah. And Colorado won 5-0 over Stateless, while Maryland won 5-3 over Washington. So got the better match there. But
cool.
I mean, from what I heard, Colorado did put up some really good scores, but obviously a week ago the pool is, maybe 0.2 stars easier, so hard to directly compare to what they'll do this week.
Well, a lot of performance expectations for both of the teams that we're running with right now, so I'm not entirely sure. Again, I think that Ohio might have just the slight edge, given their roster as a whole, I think, covers more areas. It was kind of similar, I think, in the way that like Pennsylvania versus SoCal just went, where it's like, you have Koaliaku, you have Ostrovia, they're good players, they can put the scores up. It's just you can't really match up to the like 3-man rosters that the other team is going to put up, and that's just a question of Ohio being a really high performing team, not that Colorado isn't.
Yeah, there's, I think, very clearly defined tiers this year to the teams. If you look overall, at the bracket, there's the top tier, which is probably the top 6 seeded teams. And then there's kind of like the next group down, which is going to be kind of these teams like, let's say, Texas, New York, Colorado. Maybe we'll see about Carolina, how they do next week against Florida. I think they're maybe one more tier down than that. It's kind of an interesting thing how like relatively even it feels within each of those tiers, though.
No, I agree, definitely. the bracket turned out very well this year, which is surprising because I feel like the bracket never turns out super well for most teams.
Yeah,
this year, yeah,
we're gonna have 7 of the top 8 seeded teams in all likelihood. We're gonna have 7 of the top 8 seeded teams in the quarterfinals in the winners bracket, which is basically exactly how it's supposed to go. The only change is that Carolina, quote unquote, upset Arizona. But as anybody who's ever watched the NCAA March Madness tournament knows, the 7-10 matchup is like just a really volatile one. So. That one it's not like a shock, and I think this Carolina team is pretty good. Will Cookie just kind of does stuff, so.
Will Cookie does the game.
So we do have several of our matches for now. I mean, all but one of our matches, or I guess 2, all but 2 of our matches set for next week, right? So we've got Virginia, Texas quarterfinal. We've got NorCal, Massachusetts quarterfinal. Florida versus Carolina, and then SoCal awaits the winner of Ohio versus Colorado. Which I think that NorCal versus Massachusetts is going to be a banger, like 150%. There is no way that match isn't good. I think Virginia just outclasses Texas, especially once you get through a couple pools. I think Florida outclasses Carolina. SoCal versus Ohio, though, assuming Ohio wins this, that is going to be the other insane matchup. Losers bracket, we have the loser of the upcoming Ohio-Colorado versus Oregon. Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Arizona, Washington. I mentioned last night. I believe that's a rematch of last year's opening round.
Yes.
I think that should be a pretty good one. You just never know what to expect out of Washington. They come up with some crazy strats. New Jersey versus Oklahoma should be pretty one-sided. I think New Jersey wins that one pretty easily. Michigan versus Connecticut is a matchup that intrigues me because assuming Michigan has their whole roster, they have some very strong players. Leftovers on Connecticut, goes, but I don't know if he'll continue to be able to 1v5 as we go on and he meets stronger and stronger teams.
I think Michigan turned out to be a much stronger team than what people expected this year, and they did go down to the losers bracket against Massachusetts, but regardless, they put up 3 points with only 3 of their players missing Topoi and Momo HD, which is a massive loss for the Michigan team. So they are well stronger, I think, than what some people would give them credit for.
Yeah, and then below that you have Maryland versus Illinois, which I think Maryland just wins that, but Michigan versus Maryland as a potential matchup also, really, really strong.
Yeah.
New York versus Nevada is, just super one-sided. New York smashes that. Georgia versus Stateless, I think Stateless wins, but it's actually pretty close because neither of those teams, it's funny, Stateless got weaker so that Georgia could exist and get stronger with Sacker Joe having a state team to play for finally. So now he has to match up, now he has to immediately go match up against his old team of Stateless. But
unlucky.
That should be a pretty even one. I think New York beats either of those teams though. I think New York just comes out of those 2 matches. So we're going to get some good matchups next weekend, though. I think we're going to start seeing some really close. Maybe we'll finally get a tiebreaker. We're 30 or 31 matches in. Still haven't seen a tiebreaker yet.
Wow.
So we're just kind of praying. I think this will be match number 32, Ohio versus Colorado, because there have been 2 forfeits. So that math adds up. And we have yet to see a tiebreaker, which I'd have to check back through previous years, but I don't remember that ever happening before anywhere. It's kind of unfortunate.